All right, coming back. It's the Ryan Hartson Show on BWC Internet Radio. Tim's out. No JMFPSP this weekend. He'll be back at a later date. I'm not gonna tell you what I think he's gonna pick these games at. That'd be senseless. No one even cares, so I'm not gonna waste my time. We'll move on. I'm breaking down the Saturday games today. I'll do the Sunday games tomorrow. Uh, I think the Saturday games are kind of boring compared to the Sunday games. The Sunday wildcard games this weekend are fantastic, but those are for tomorrow. So we'll talk about the Jets going to Indianapolis to take on Peyton Manning and the Colts. This game's a big deal, very big deal for Rex Ryan, who is 1-5 against Peyton Manning, and it's really 0-5 because that one was really against Curtis Painter. So it's really not fair to give Rex Ryan a victory when Peyton Manning last season in December went and chilled on the sideline and said, Curtis Painter, good luck, kid. You're playing the best defense in the NFL. And obviously that did not go well. Jets sneak into the playoffs by taking care of two teams that kind of laid down for them. In the Colts and I believe the Bengals was the other team last year. But this time the Jets did not back into the playoffs. Well, they did a little bit. They were 9-2. They end up 11-5 when people thought they could go, 13-3. Was kind of the number I was thinking when they were 9-2. Obviously, they get blown out in New England, and then all of a sudden, it kind of snowballed from there, and they end up 11-5. But they do make it to the playoffs. They're the wild card, as I expected them to be. You always think New England's going to win that division with Brady and Belichick. So the Jets get in as the wild card. They go to Indianapolis to take on Peyton Manning, who did not have the Peyton Manning year we were expecting him to have, because he didn't go 12-4. They won 12 games like 7 straight years or something crazy like that. They go 10-6. They were the team that backed into the playoffs. They were the very last team to clinch the playoffs this year in the AFC, and that's key. Peyton Manning doesn't have the team around him. They're beat up like hell. The defense hasn't played as well. They have run the ball better the last 3 weeks. I think they've averaged 150 yards a game or something like that, which for the Colts is insane because did they not have a 150-yard rusher in like 2 years previous? I saw a stat, I think it was similar to that, which was crazy because Peyton Manning is the offense in Indianapolis. Now, this year, he doesn't have all the weapons, which is kind of insane because he still has Reggie Wayne, who caught 113 balls this year, which is huge. Reggie Wayne, I think, is going to end up being a Hall of Famer. Still one of the best performing receivers in the game. But last year, they had Pierre Garçon, they had Austin Collie, they had Peyton Manning's, what people call Peyton Manning's blankie, in Dallas Clark. This year, it's still Garçon. Reggie Wayne obviously still there. But this year, there's names that before the season started, you would have been like, who? In Jacob Tamme, Jacob Tamme's the big one. And then obviously their running game got healthy when Adai came back and Donald Brown came back. Didn't they get Kerry Rhodes back, sign him from somewhere because they cut him a few years ago. So it's it's been depleted. Peyton's roster has been depleted, but Peyton Manning's still there, and his right arm still works, and he can throw the ball around like hell. And the Jets' defense has not been as good in the past. Got a good stat here. In the last 5 games, the Jets have given up 8 touchdown passes. All of 2009, the Jets gave up 8 touchdown passes. Now, it was 2009 a fluke where people really didn't see the Jets defense coming. This year, they've got an entire 16-game season of film on Rex Ryan's defense as a head coach, or is the defense just gotten worse? Now, you would think, how did the defense get worse when they add an Antonio Cromartie on the other side? With Revis and Cromartie, you would think that would be unstoppable as far as a corner tandem. Well, Revis held out, not as healthy. Antonio Cromartie hasn't been healthy, and they just aren't playing as well. Antonio Cromartie, he's athletic, his fundamentals really aren't there, so he's really not that unbelievable corner that you would think he is. He has issues with with coverage sometimes. Peyton Manning will be the guy. Well, Peyton Manning will be looking to expose Antonio Cromartie, rather. Antonio Cromartie is that guy that Peyton Manning is looking for to execute in the passing game. And Peyton, He loves this. He loves the chess matches with D coordinators because he is the offensive coordinator right now. He can call the plays from the line. He can do whatever he needs to do, and he will execute better than the Jets defense will, because the Jets defense, just plain and simply, whether last year was a fluke or not, plain and simply, the Jets defense is flat out not as good as it was last year. It's not that good in general. So Peyton Manning is going to be able to really shred them up, if you think about it. Jay Cutler took care of the Jets defense for 34 points in a game in Chicago. And it was kind of a nasty weather game when it turned out that they were scoring points like crazy. It wasn't this close defensive matchup. So if Jay Cutler can do that to the Jets defense, what's Peyton Manning going to do? He's going to throw for 350 yards. He's going to have a huge day. Can Mark Sanchez stay with Peyton Manning at least a little bit? I don't know. And Indianapolis is at home. They're a different team in the Dome. I think the Colts are going to get this done relatively easily. I don't think it's going to be as close as everybody else does. I really don't. Because Sanchez has his issues still. He's still an average quarterback. He needs another offseason of work. He's not going anywhere this year. The Jets can't run the ball as well. They're not playing defense, and they're going up against Peyton Manning. This is a disaster matchup in Indianapolis. Like we were talking about with the 12th man in Seattle. Indianapolis is impossible to beat. So I'll take Peyton Manning all day. And I'm gonna say the Colts are going to blow out the Jets. I think they're going to kill them. I really do. Because the Jets, despite being 11-5 as opposed to 9-7, aren't as good this year. They're just not as good. I don't know why, but they're not. All right. That's my preview of this game. I am going to go to the BCS next. I want to break down the national championship game today because I'm going to be so fired up for the games tomorrow. So this is my NFL preview for today. If you didn't notice, I'm picking the Colts to beat the Jets, and I'm picking the Saints to beat the Seahawks. Despite the marquee matchup, I think the Saints and Seahawks are going to be the closer game. I think Peyton Manning is going to blow away the Jets. So I like the Colts, and I like the Saints. I believe if the Colts win, they are going to New England. Right? No. Sorry. If the Colts win, they're going to New Orleans. That is the 3-6 match. Or not New Orleans, listen to me. Pittsburgh. They're going to Pittsburgh. And so if Peyton Manning wins, he's going to Pittsburgh. If the Jets win, they go to New England. That's right. And New Orleans doesn't know. If New Orleans wins, they are either going to the Bears or the Falcons. That's to be determined by the 3-6 matchup tomorrow, Green Bay and Philadelphia. All right, good stuff. Coming up next, I'll break down the national championship game. Look forward to that. Sound quality sucked on this video. I'm sorry for that. It's the Ryan Hartson Show on BWC Internet Radio.